Hi, my name is Lisa B and welcome to the Boardroom series and Let's Talk About Real Estate. Today we are going to be talking to Denise Haynes, and Denise is from R&R Property. R&R Property are in Stroud and Bulahdelah, and Denise is going to share with us today some tips on selling rural property as well as marketing and lots of other different tips on how to be successful in real estate. And we're going to be talking about a little bit of a controversial subject about women in real estate and if there is really any kind of discrimination against women in real estate. So it's a little bit of a controversial topic. Now, Denise features in our new book, Real Estate Agents, What You Need to Know Now. And so she's also shared some other tips in the book. So I really hope you like this interview with Denise, and be sure to leave us some comments, particularly about that, about the women in real estate. I'd be really interested to hear what you think. Okay, Denise, thank you so much for joining me today.
No trouble. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa B. I'm really excited to be here.
It's always wonderful. All right, now just so people can get to know you a little bit better, can you explain your market and how many properties are in your area, just so they get an idea of the demographics and everything?
Sure. So we're just a small rural town is my basic core area. We've got about 400 homes. So it is only a small area. It's made up of like residential. So we have a little village of residential properties, and then all the outer lying areas are rural farms, for example. We are trying to break out of the town a little bit and get into like larger populated areas, just so we can have, more sales, of course, more of a turnover and higher prices as well. So obviously the further you get out into like a bigger suburb, the higher the prices can be. So we're just looking to do that at the moment. Because some of the houses in Stroud, for example, I've sold 3 or 4 times in my career. So, there's not enough basically to make a really good go of it. So we're just, as I said, trying to expand our footprint a little bit.
Yeah, well, you have actually been very successful in doing that. It's kind of bit by bit, but you have actually expanded a fair bit to where you were, like being just in that Stroud area, and then you've kind of gone out into a couple of different areas. I think you've done a great job, and I think you're pretty hard on yourself as well as you've made some really good crossroads. You really have. So you've got residential, you've got rural and commercial.
Yes, we do. So, as I said before, we have the little residentials. We do anything, like we particularly have sea change and tree change clients. So they're coming from the city areas. They're looking for a slower pace in life, less stress. So they're moving our way. Mm-hmm. People from Sydney are buying in the Central Coast, and Central Coast people are coming this way. So there's a bit of a movement happening as far as that's concerned. So we sell all sorts of properties. It's very diverse. I can sell a 600 square metre block of land and a 600 acre block of land, and absolutely everything in between.
It's a huge
And we
difference.
do rural, coastal as well.
That's a huge difference, isn't it? And I mean, you are such, I've spoken about this before, you're such a great ambassador for your town, and, promoting everything. And if anybody hasn't seen you on Instagram and Facebook, then follow Denise, because she is the marketing queen. So we've also spoken about this before too. How is it different selling the rural property it is to residential? If I'm a residential agent, tell me the things that you actually have to go through that's so much harder than what I would say in a town of, or a city of 10, 12, 15,000 people, apart from, having the limited supply. What are some other things as a rural agent that makes it more difficult for you?
Okay, so for example, just as a starter, it might take me an hour to get to a property. A rural property could take anything up to, say, for example, 3 hours to show it, and then you're an hour drive back. And we don't always have phone reception during that drive either. So it's not like you can always catch up on your phone calls or anything like that. So there's a huge chunk of time that gets taken up with showing a rural property. The knowledge that you've got to have is vast. So I need to be able to remember how many dams stock dams a property has, whether it's fenced, whether that fencing's in good condition, poor condition, non-existent. You know, how many paddocks, whether it's been seeded with, you know, ryegrass, kikuyu, all those type of things, as well as whether it's been fertilised, if it has, what it's been fertilised with. And then, of course, all your basics that you get with a residential, they want to know whether they can get internet reception there, and that's not just, you know, a basic, yes, you'll get broadband or whatever. There's all different sorts, like satellite, for example, that we need to know all that information as well. So lots and lots of information. Of course, I have to have a four-wheel drive. So there's not, you know, you can't just have a little Suzuki Swift, for example. You've got to have a four-wheel drive one. You're out, you know, four-wheel driving over mountains, in creek beds, all sorts of things. So it's quite vast, I suppose, is the key to it.
And also the danger. A real estate agent was tragically killed in your area, like on an inspection, wasn't he? Like, that's just, you know, just going over a property. Right. And, you know.
Yeah, you've got to have a lot of respect for four-wheel driving. You've got to be really careful all the time. You know, clay soil, for example, incredibly slippery when it just gets the slightest bit wet. So you just have to be very careful all the time. If it's too slippery, too wet, you just get out and walk instead of driving.
Yeah, 100%. Recognise the danger.
Caution.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing that I like to ask is, how do you juggle work and kids?
Crazily. So, you know, I'm very lucky in that I can walk from my office to my little girl's school. So I can walk down, pick her up and walk back. I've got a great team of ladies that are here for me if I'm out on inspection, for example, and I don't get back in time to pick her up. I know that I can ring the girls and just say, can you go down and pick her up for me? She comes back and, you know, she runs the office while I'm not here.
Yes.
She likes to get on the computers and take over someone's computer and do some research, usually on something really important like sausage dogs, for example.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
I'm desperately wanting one of those at present. But yeah, it's just, you just got to work around it, really. You know, we've got a kids' room in our office, so all the girls know that their children are welcome in the office. For example, if their kids are sick, they can come back and spend time in the kids' room, for example. And they also know that if there's an awards day on at school, they can go, you know, maybe finish an hour earlier or start an hour later and actually go and watch the kids do whatever they've got to do as well. So we just try to be really flexible with families because that's super important. Time just gets made when it comes to kids, doesn't it?
Well, it does, supportive. So handling children and work, and then you've also got, how do you handle work, staff, kids and a husband? How do you juggle that all? You know, like a lot of women find, you know, that you're juggling all the balls and suck at something. You know, it's like, how do you juggle all of these balls and keep it all balanced? How do you find that you can do that?
Yeah, look, again, it is crazy, and I don't know if there really is such a thing as balance. I really, you know, something's got to give at some point. You just got to be, I guess, try as hard as you can to have an ideal week, for example. So try and allocate time to different things. Use your diary, put in that you're going to go and do some exercise. We try, with the staff, we try and have weekly meetings. So, you know, we know what's going on with each other. Although we are a small office, so we all interact all the time anyway. So
and have each other's back.
Have each other's back, that's it. And as far as hubby's concerned, you know, we just try and spend time with each other whenever we can. So maybe go away occasionally, spend some time together, some downtime.
Yeah.
So, but it's crazy all the time. It's go, go, go.
Yeah, and you do it well. You do it well. So there's a question that I want to ask you, and it's a controversial question, and it's always, you know, something that's in the real estate groups and all that sort of thing. I think it's great being a female in real estate. I feel I've had over the years an unfair advantage being female. I feel some women see it as a downside, but I felt it's really been an advantage. There are, sort of misogynistic men, or, when I started 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever it was, there wasn't a lot of women in real estate. So it was like you were treated like, oh, you won't make it anyway kind of thing. And it kind of gave me more incentive. But I really think I really want to see us women empower other women to really sort of consider that when I believe real estate, you can achieve whatever you want. And in life in general, really, it's like if you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. And if you're in an office and you're not feeling you're supported, go to another office. If you're not happy, go somewhere else where your career can flourish. And I was just wondering, what's your thoughts on that? I believe the sky's the limit and everything else. What are your thoughts about being discriminated against when, being a female, or sort of that sort of thing that people talk about?
Okay, no. Well, look, my take on it is that I'm absolutely excited at the moment. I think that it's our time. As Oprah Winfrey did say recently, it's our time, baby. We're out there, we're making headroads, and the tide is turning. Certainly I have experienced the boys' club, and it certainly does exist, particularly in the rural sector. But, I think for women, it really is a great time that we are making, as I said, the headroads, and people love us. People love women doing real estate. They feel a connection with them. And let's face it, whenever there's a sale, we generally know that it's the woman making the decision as far as what house they're going to buy.
Yeah. Also on the agent. Yeah, also on the agent that they choose. So that's why I believe we've had the unfair advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, and as I said, the women are making the decisions, so they are connecting with you as another woman. We're empathetic, and look, I'm not saying that men aren't, but I think that we're just very, very good at it, and people connect with us. And sometimes, as I said, people do prefer a male real estate agent, and particularly in the rural sector, you do come across that. But I just see it like this: they're not your tribe.
Yes.
Those people are not your people. So just move on to someone else that is. But no, I think it really is a tide turn.
And, tongue twister, tide turn.
Tongue twister, sorry. Yeah. So I think that it's only going to get stronger and stronger. And as you know, we are an all-women team, and everyone absolutely loves our team. So yeah, I don't really experience it too often, just occasionally.
I mean, I have, with my group, Let's Talk About Real Estate, I talk to a lot of different people, and, sort of confided in with a lot of different things and a lot of different situations. And the reason it can be so controversial is that quite a few men have rung me and just said that they feel that the pendulum has swung so far the other way that men are now discriminated against. They can't walk through a park and say hello to a child without feeling like, oh no, I can't say anything to them because people look at me, and they're feeling threatened in who they are a lot of the time. And I think it really is a controversial situation, and it's something that all I can say is that as far as us as women, I believe that it's always been that, I've just always felt it's that unfair advantage. And I think, like you said, it's the time for us, but I think we've also got to be mindful of the men and their situation as well. So I think it's just that tide turning, like you said, isn't it? The political correctness has changed. Everything is changing. And I think, it's interesting times all around.
And I think it has possibly swung too far the other way in some circumstances, like you were just saying, and hopefully that'll come back and balance out at some point. I'm not someone that's going to go around and say don't have real estate agents who are men. Don't have them in your office. I mean,
No.
men are amazing. So, and
Yeah.
we're open to that as well. It's just that at the moment we are an all-women team. If the right guy comes along, we're more than happy to have them in the team as well.
Yeah.
We actually just had a young fella here doing 2 weeks work experience, and he was amazing. He got on so well with everyone, and the customers loved him as well. So
we'd be lucky if you get somebody else in your office. They'd be very lucky people. All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is your top 10 tips for success in real estate. What do you think, what's made you successful, your office successful?
Sure. So I think building relationships is really important. So, go and meet your other small business people in town, build those relationships, talk to people all the time about what their situation is, and try and be empathetic with them. Do what you say you will do. I think that's super important. So, don't make promises you can't keep, and stick to what you say.
Yes.
Be present, be professional in your presentation. So I always try and dress really nicely. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. I try to always look professional. And, you can imagine we go from residential to rural, so we have different outfits, but we always try and maintain our colour theme and always look professional no matter what.
So you've got different outfits. You've got different outfits for residential, and I didn't think about that. You'd have to, wouldn't you? You'd have to have kind of the gumboots and the dress kind of thing.
Yeah. So we're out tackling snakes in rural properties, so we have to wear the appropriate footwear, jeans, and still wear a nice jacket or shirt.
Yeah.
Whereas doing residential, I can get the peoples out.
Yeah, and what you went to say is also about your presentation. Be present. I think that's something too, isn't it? To be present in your presentation. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Be kind. Always be kind to people. Be empathetic to their situation. People are going through all sorts of dramas in their life when it comes to selling their property. It could be a divorce, for example. So just always got to be mindful of other people's situations and be kind accordingly.
Yeah.
Don't make it about you. So, make it about, like, everyone loves to get great results in a sale, but it's not about you. That great result is actually for your home seller. So, don't focus on the dollar for yourself. I guess I'm trying to say.
I love it. Don't make it about you.
Yeah. Support your community. So, as you know, we're big advocates for our community. We're always trying to support them financially, in person, whatever it takes. So we take part in local events. We sponsor local events as well. We're in attendance. We have our big marquee up. We give away balloons. We have face painting for the kids, all sorts of things. So just try to support your community, and hopefully, and it doesn't always happen, but hopefully most people will support you back.
Yeah, and they'll remember you.
And the next one is try to strike some sort of balance between work, family, and your health. So as I said before, it's really hard. I find it really hard, and I'm always falling off some sort of wagon, either I'm full on with my health or full on with work, but just try to strike some sort of balance with it. And also never stop learning and perfecting your craft. I've been in the business for 14 years now. I still try and read books all the time. I continually listen to podcasts. I'm always doing some sort of course. So to me, you can just never, ever know enough. And as you know, everything's changing all the time anyway. So you need to keep up, don't you?
Be the expert.
Yeah, exactly. Be the expert in your field.
Yeah.
And the last one, of course, is never, ever give up. So just keep going. It's a tough road. It's a tough business, real estate, but you just got to keep going and never give up.
Okay, exactly. Now that leads to the next question is, to not give up, to keep following up and all that sort of thing. How do you handle rejection? So how do you handle it when you don't get a listing, or you don't, buyers pull out of a sale, or staff leave, or whatever? How do you handle the rejection that real estate agents always get? I don't care how good you are, you'll always find that, and it hurts. How do you handle it?
Yeah, and look, I can say that it never gets easy. It's never an easy thing to be rejected, but I think you do get used to it with time, and you just deal with it better. I just think, okay, be disappointed for a little while, but then move past it. Just move to the next listing, the next sale, the next staff member, for example. And I've had staff members leave and start their own business, for example. And at first I was heartbroken about that. But then I think, you know what, how fabulous is that they worked with me, they felt confident enough, they loved real estate enough to actually go out and start their own business. So I think that's a compliment, and that's how I take it. And I hope that they succeed. And, I'm there cheering them on in the background.
Good for you.
And, with staff, sometimes, and this has been the hardest thing for me, is that sometimes staff members just aren't the right fit, and they're bringing the rest of the team down.
Yeah.
So you've just got to learn to cut it, say, you're not the right fit, I'm sorry, and find someone else that is.
Yeah.
They need to go and find another team that they are suited to, and you need to find team members that fit within your team and your culture.
Yeah, because you can't pay somebody to be your friend.
No, that's right. That's exactly right. And, you can feel it when someone in the team isn't right. You can feel the dynamics of the team just are not right during that time. So you just got to do something about it.
Yeah, you've got to be happy in the workplace, don't you? And I think, like you said, to try and turn everything into a positive and reframe it. Like you say, you just, you think about your staff that leave, that's great. And so anything, I think, or you miss out on a listing is reframing it. And I had a conversation about this with somebody this morning. It's like, if you feel like you've done your absolute best and there's nothing else you can do, that's all you can do, but if there's a lesson that you need to learn, something you've forgotten to do, or something you used to do that you haven't done, or you didn't follow up, then it's like, oh dear, I've got to learn from that. But you can't beat yourself up about it too much. Otherwise it's going to affect other deals. You've got to sort of go, okay, put it to one side and just keep going, and kind of use that energy or that, that disappointment to really further it, to push it to the next result. That's what I feel anyway. I'd get a bit angry with myself, and then just use that as energy to get the next result. And then once you do that, you're right. And always remember that you're doing your best, and the things that you've learned, the results that you've got, and just try not to beat yourself up so much. I think that's where a lot of real estate agents fail, is that they can't stand the rejection, and it eats them up. And that's why a lot of people leave the industry, I believe. And, it's a big thing to deal with that rejection.
I think you need to be able to shake it off too, because you do take that negativity with you to the next appointment. So that's what I mean. You need to just let go, be disappointed for that time, but then move on to the next appointment and shake off that negativity, because those people will feel it if you don't.
100%.
And you don't want that, of course. And like I said to you before, some people just are not your people. There's people out there that I try really hard to make a connection with, and you just can't do it because they're not your tribe.
Yeah.
So do you really want to work with them anyway? That's how I look at it.
100%. And as I said, if you don't follow Denise on Instagram, follow her with her, photography, her shots, her presentation, the way she is an ambassador for the town, her marketing. I've got lots of people following you, and, like I say.
That's another thing. Market yourself like a demon.
Yes, like a demon. # like a demon. All right. So you are in our new book, Real Estate Agents, What You Need to Know Now. So you've got a lot more tips in there. So if you want to hear some more of Denise's tips, then grab the book. And the book is going off, absolutely going off. We only launched it a couple of days ago, absolutely going nuts. So gangbusters, it's awesome. So grab the book. But so thank you so much again, Denise, for your time. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your wisdom in the book and your comments today, and helping everybody to be successful in real estate.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Thanks, Denise.